Good morning. Welcome to the Armstrong County Board of Supervisors meeting as we're meeting in regular session on this fourth day of October in meeting room 2, northeast third floor of the courthouse with all three members present. And I ask you now to please rise with me and say our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Just a notice to the public that we read every meeting. The Board of Supervisors welcomes comments from the public during the time allowed for discussion. You are requested to approach the microphone, state your name for the record, and limit the time used to present your remarks in order that others may be given the opportunity to speak. The normal process on any agenda item is for the chairperson to read the item from the agenda. The board is given an opportunity to comment on the issue and or place a motion on the floor. An opportunity for discussion may be presented, at which time the public may participate, and a roll call vote will follow. First item is the approval or the amendment of the agenda that has been presented.
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we approve the agenda as printed.
Mr. Chairman, I will second that.
Got a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Gravenbauer.
Yes.
Patton.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Moving on to item number 2, the years of service recognition. We've got two people out of that have a total of 40 years of working for Marshall County. Todd Parrish in the Sheriff's Office has been with the Sheriff's Office for 25 years, and Richard Ritter in the Secondary Road Department for 15 years. We thank both of those. Of course, they couldn't be here today because they're working. So we didn't want to take time out from their busy schedule to receive the award, so we will mail that to them or give that to them or present it to them. But thanks to Todd and Richard for their continued working conditions and support of Marshall County. Moving on to the consent agenda, item number 3 is approve the minutes from the regular session of September 20th, 2016. Item 4, accept annual manure management plan update from Burt Farm and Livestock. ID number 60557. Manure management plan update has been received and placed on file. There were no changes to their manure management plan. And item 5, approval of the claims is audited and authorize the county auditor and recorder to issue payment of same. The listings of claims paid at this meeting will be included with all claims paid for the month of October. The October list of claims will be part of the first meeting in November. I would entertain a motion on our consent agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I motion that we approve the consent agenda as printed.
Mr. Chairman, I second that.
I got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Gravenbauer.
Yes.
Patton.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Moving on to the item 6, approval of personnel action. This is a change of status for Colleen Whitmore, Sheriff's Office, full-time change of status from jailer to executive secretary, rate of pay $19.32 per hour, effective October 3rd, 2016.
Mr. Chairman, I motion that we approve this personnel action, approving Colleen Whitmore change of status from the Sheriff's Office full-time to jailer to executive secretary at a rate of $19.32 effective October 3rd, 2016.
Mr. Chairman, I second that.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Just a short discussion on this. Her pay rate between these two positions is basically the same. Colleen has worked as a jailer for a number of years for us and is very familiar with things at the jail and the CALEA process and other things. This is not a new hire. She will be replacing the administrative secretary that left our position previously, which will leave us an opening for a female jailer, and they're in the process of taking things through civil service and other things on that order. So this is not a new hire. This is a replacement.
No additional personnel, just a replacement.
Correct.
Correct. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Gravenbauer.
Yes.
Patton.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
All right, B, under approval of personnel actions, to hire Tori Robinson from the County Attorney's Office, full-time assistant county attorney rate of pay $60,000 per year, effective October 24, 2016. I'd entertain a motion on this.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to approve the personnel action of hiring Tori Robinson, County Attorney's Office, full-time assistant county attorney, rate of pay $60,000 per year, effective October 24, 2016.
Mr. Chairman, I will second that.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Once again, this is a replacement for an individual that has left our employ. She won't be able to start until October 24th. She's putting in sufficient notice to her current employer.
All right. Roll call, please.
Gravenbauer.
Yes.
Patton.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Moving on to item number 7, public events held on county property. Discussion and possible action on a request from Jerry Best for permission to use the courthouse grounds for the nationwide public square rosary event on Saturday, October 15th from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. on the Marshall County Courthouse steps. This will be one of 14,000 rallies held nationwide where people will be praying for peace and protection and blessing on our country and the world and an end to all the violence we hear about daily. I would entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I motion that we approve this request.
Mr. Chairman, on second.
We got a motion and a second. Any discussion? I would just add that I've talked with Mrs. Best and about this, and we, I guess we're glad to accommodate her wishes and desires on that Saturday, October 15th, and wish her good luck and a good attendance. Roll call, please.
Gravenbauer.
Yes.
Patton.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Moving on to item number 8, memorandum of understanding. This is discussion and possible action on approval of a memorandum of understanding between the Teamsters Local 238 and the Marshall County Sheriff's Office unit relating to the assignment of overtime for deputies. I would entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I motion that we approve the memorandum of understanding between the Teamsters Local 238 and Marshall County Sheriff's Office unit relating to the assignment of overtime for deputies. This memorandum of understanding shall be in effect for a period of 60 days, October 1st, 2016, and may be extended upon mutual agreement of the parties.
Need a second?
Mr. Chairman, I'd second that.
All right, we got a motion and a second. Discussion?
This is an understanding between the management structure at the jail and the Teamsters for overtime so that they can more equitably and efficiently work with it. It will have absolutely no effect on the budget. It's just whom may actually receive the overtime.
Basically just a rewording of the contract that's in existence, correct?
Well, we do have a current contract in existence, and this is just going to be a memorandum that they're going to try out to see if it works, and it has been worked on between the Teamsters with John Thomas, who is their head, and both Ted and his command structure out to the jail.
Okay. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Gravenbauer.
Yes.
Patton.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Moving on to item number 9, First Amendment to Lease Agreement. This is the First Amendment to Lease Agreement between and among Family LLC landlord, whose address for the purpose of this lease is 404 North 5th Street, which is a DHS building. Basically what happens, I can read this whole thing, but what it amounts to is we had a change of ownership of that building. Mike Bergman, Ellen Bergman were the owners, and they have sold the building. And in our contract, it does state that we have the option for a amendment, an agreement. That's basically what we've done. We're just changing the ownership name from one name to the other. Again, I'd have been short if I'd have read it, I guess, but that's basically what it's all about.
And everything else stays the same.
Everything else stays
Yeah.
the same.
The only difference would be the starting term, because the starting
Yes.
term on the new contract will be with the new company that owns it, rather than the starting term of the old contract was with the Bergmans.
Yep.
But everything else is identical.
I would entertain a motion on this.
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we approve this amendment to lease agreement.
Mr. Chairman, I will second that.
All right, we got a motion and a second. Any more discussion? And basically what the new owners will be Top Farms LLLP, care of Ferguson Property Management Services in Clive, Iowa. They are the new owners of that building. And again, the lease agreement stays the same, just a change in ownership, who the check is made out to, basically.
Right. And I think all three of us need to sign that.
Yes, we do. We need to do that before we leave here. Roll call, please.
Gravenbauer.
Yes.
Patton.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
All right, moving on to item number 10, secondary road equipment purchase, discussion and possible action on the purchase of a 2016 Dodge Ram 1500 truck from Dairy Brothers of Ames. This truck has a crew cab configuration. Mr. Paul Geilenfeld, welcome, you're on.
Okay, do you want the whole rotation of where vehicles are going?
Yeah,
Because there's kind of a puzzle here, and if I had little plastic vehicles, it would actually be
We
a
would
lot
need
easier.
magnetic pins.
The first thing that happened was we took 2 of our really high mileage pickups from the shop to the auction at the DOT, and then we were planning on taking the survey truck that this proposed purchase will replace down to the shop, and they will configure that for use, likely brush cutting and just being, because it's crew cab as well, so it can haul multiple employees in it. The other strange part is my old half-ton that I replaced a couple meetings ago is going to inspection service just in my office, so that because it has a lot of life left in it, but if it stays under me, it's going to get a lot more miles, so I can get a lot of years out of it just by using it for inspection. The Envoy that was the inspection vehicle the assessor wants to purchase that from us, and I told the assessor I would sell it to them for the trade quote that I got from Deary Brothers on that vehicle. The Buick that the assessors currently have that they got from us, they don't want to keep. The quote for trade was just above scrap. I mean, it's a pretty old car, but we think
Do we have another Buick down there too?
No.
One time
no.
we had 2 Buicks.
The one's already left.
Okay.
This one is actually Royce's, right?
And so was the Envoy at one time.
Been back a few years.
It's an 18-year-old car, but we think we can do a little better at DOT auction. So we would take the Buick to the DOT auction in the spring, and then take that amount off of what we would, bill the assessor for the Envoy, just to keep things, having them not have to get into the vehicle management side of things, and anyway, that's kind of the vehicle rotation that can be a little, we're trying to move vehicles into jobs where they don't get maybe as many miles, but more years. And their initial use, we put them in a higher mileage purpose.
I personally have absolutely no trouble with that. I think you've done a very good job maintaining our fleet and working it around so we get the best usage out of it. My only concern is you make sure that any fees that would associated with this get passed on to the assessor, because that's not a county office. He's his own entity.
Yes, and I just quoted trade because that's really what it was going to go for, was that quoted trade value, and so that should be reasonable, because I would think they would not quote full, market value for a trade value.
Right. It's
So that
just
should
from
be a
a
decent
from
deal.
a bookkeeping and a
Yeah.
taxation standpoint, we literally have 2 different silos we're working with here. One is county
Okay.
funds and one is the assessor's funds, and they are totally separate, and we have to make sure we keep them that way.
One other thing, I just want everyone to realize, because we've worked and talked back and forth. When you got bids on this truck, you tried locally also.
I do have,
We did not ignore our local dealers.
I did get a price from Ken Wise on this, and I can give you that number if you want to know what it
No,
is.
that's okay.
No, we don't.
I
But
just want everyone to know that we're trying to buy locally.
I would
when we
default
can.
to buying local if I can, and
Yeah.
there's a certain price difference where I would recommend that we just stay local, but this is a substantial price difference.
Now, one thing that I've been asked, it seems like we've been dealing in vehicles the last couple meetings. You get new equipment. Is that affected by the gas tax that we're getting?
Not so much.
I think it should be a public, the public should know that there's no connection with that.
It just comes through our vehicle rotation when there's a window that I can replace smaller units.
And we have that already in the budget.
It's in the equipment portion of the budget.
Because if I
just want people to know that has nothing to do with the gas tax.
Yeah, it's just that you're replacing tandems and replacing motor graders are large chunks of change. I mean, a motor grader is $290, I think, right now. So I mean, that would be half of my equipment budget in one purchase. And we've got one of those in this, and then we've got some the pup trailers that we have on order, and that's a smaller purchase. So it just gives us a little bit of room for for pickups.
Yeah,
I
but
agree
those
with
aren't
Dave.
here yet.
I agree with Dave. I think you're doing a good job of juggling this stuff and improving this stuff, because we had some equipment that needed to be taken care of, and, so.
Still
good-
do.
Good job.
We're getting there,
You're-
though.
No, but we've made
We,
pretty
we
good
are,
strides in the-
we definitely are. With your guys' help, we're getting there.
The Volvos have been much more energy efficient,
Yes.
and I'm not saying they're paying for themselves, but they are making a difference.
It's noticeable. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a fuel efficiency increase in the range of 25–30% better fuel economy.
Yeah, the fleet management is going well, and you should be commended for that.
I'd entertain a motion on this.
Mr. Chairman, I motion that we approve the purchase of a 2016 Dodge Ram Truck 1500 from Deary Brothers of Ames in the amount of $30,742. This purchase will be paid from the fiscal year 2017 equipment budget.
Mr. Chairman, I'll second that.
We got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Gravenbauer.
Yes.
Patton.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Right, moving on to resolution item number 11, 2016-0038, project funding agreement with the Iowa DOT. Discussion and possible action on agreement with the Iowa DOT titled Federal Aid Agreement for a Surface Transportation Program Project. Once again, Paul.
This is our federal agreement that we need to utilize federal funds on next summer's cold-in-place recycling and resurfacing that will take place from Garwin Road, south on Wallace, and around on East Main and down Zeller, just short of the ramps on Highway 30. So it's another very large resurfacing project, and this agreement lets us, we are actually only using probably about 30% federal funds on this, and we can go up to 80. But it's just it's a product of us just trying to be aggressive with our paving and use our FM money. So
Okay.
There's costs associated with the project, with going with federal funds because of different things that we have to do to make that happen. Another possible strategy would be not do a federal aid resurfacing project every year and let it build up a little higher and then make it, be more in that 70 to 80%. But that's future programming that I would probably do.
So these are the surface transportation dollars that we get through Region 6?
Yeah, this is the federal money, the 30%. I think there's 880,000.
And we're going to take the rest out of farm to market?
Yes.
Okay. So there will be no cost to the property taxpayer on this?
No local money.
Okay.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I would move to adopt this resolution, 2016-0038, an agreement between Marshall County, Iowa, and the Iowa DOT, project number STPS -CO64, parentheses 126, 5E-64, Iowa DOT agreement number 1-16, STPS 029, and authorizing the chairman to sign the agreements.
Mr. Chairman, I'll second that.
All right, we got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll
Thank you
call.
for reading all that.
Yeah,
I probably
that was-
needed air,
you
I
did
probably
very good.
needed oxygen.
Roll call, please.
Gravenbauer.
Yes.
Patton.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
All right, moving on to item 12, Secondary Road Department right-of-way contract. Discussion and possible action on the approval of a right-of-way contract with Iowa State University of Science and Technology. This contract is for approximately 4.59 acres of temporary right of entry needed for the construction of Bridge M-14 on 320th Street, east of Binford Avenue, Marshall County, Iowa. Paul?
This is be for the construction of our bridge M14. It would be just west of 330 on 320th, isn't it?
Okay.
And it is one of our truss bridges, so it's just another one it's one that requires fracture critical inspection, so it's definitely on our list to get replaced.
What's the Iowa State University of Science?
It's one
Have
of
to do
their, it's
with
one of their
this.
farms down there, and
I see.
the other luxury is that it's their farmland on both sides of the bridge, and it's kind of unusual to have a
really?
same landowner on both sides of a project and just have to deal with
Deal with
one.
one person.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
There's no permanent right-of-way here. That's strictly temporary for during construction, and then the right-of-way lines will be just as they are today when the project's complete.
All right. I would entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I motion that we approve the right-of-way contract with Iowa State University of Science and Technology and authorize the chairman to sign.
Mr. Chairman, I second
All
that.
right, we've got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Ravenbauer.
Yes.
Patton.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Moving on to item number 13, Secondary Road Department right-of-way contract. Discussion and possible action on the approval of the right-of-way contract with Ed Barteen. This contract is for approximately 4.59 acres of temporary right-of-way entry needed for the construction of Bridge D20 on 155th Street, east of Eastman Avenue, Marshall County, Iowa.
And this is a similarly sized project, and in fact, the right-of-way area that we're proposing is exactly the same as the other project. And as unusual as it is to find one landowner on both sides of the project, to find it two projects in a row is really rare. But Ed Barteen owns both sides of this bridge too, so.
You're getting lucky on that, aren't you?
Yeah, lucky, definitely.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to approve the right-of-way contract with Ed Barteen and authorize the chairman to sign.
Mr. Chairman, I'll second that.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Just a comment, you know, we've been much more aggressive this year with the addition of funding from the road use tax. It has allowed us to do several more bridges and culverts and box culverts than we've done in the past. I think by the time we're done with this construction season, we'll probably have done maybe as many as 6 box culverts. Am I pretty close there?
Yeah, it's gonna be dependent on frost. but-
And that's a pretty healthy step up from our previous years. So the only comment I'm making is the addition of the road use funding has definitely helped the county out in our ability to improve our aggressiveness of getting things taken care of, and it's really made a difference for us.
It has. I didn't,
We already have a motion, you just. need
Motion
to
and a
do
second.
roll call if you're done.
roll call, please. Thank you.
Ravenbauer.
Oh, yes.
Patton.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes. Did you have trouble with your packet this morning?
Yeah.
Okay.
Moving on, to item number 14, request a temporary closed county road. Request from Cole Needham, MCC filmmaking student, and request to close 285th Street outside of Marshtown, outside of Melbourne, Iowa, on October 14 from sunset 6:30 to roughly 1 a.m. to film a scene for his short film in Melbourne, Iowa. And I think he's here. You wanted to tell us what kind of movie you're making here?
Yeah, so.
Come on, you need to go to the microphone. This is going to be interesting.
I'm Cole Needham. So I've been doing filmmaking, but I got an idea because I live in Melbourne, small town. So the film is about starts in present time, have a reuniting in Clark's Bar of some old childhood friends, obviously. And then it flashes back into time. They're working on a car. They finally get it running, and they're going to the road to have the street race, because trying to create a story that the hot rods were the focus. So then they go, and then it'd be on 285th. They have the race against the car that nobody knows who owns the car, but they always win. So then they go, we have that race, and then I'm working on access to the water tower in Melbourne, and we'll have a scene up there that looks over that road, and then they'll talk about how that road is important to them because they grew up watching the older kids, and then it flashes back in time to present day, and then another character enters the bar. One of the mechanic that worked on the car, their best friend, he stayed while the others went to New York, and
Did you
moved
come
on.
up with the kind of the creation of what
Yeah,
what you want
it's
this
my
movie to be
idea.
like?
Yeah, it's my idea, and I had a buddy that from Des Moines that he wrote the film for me, so he did the screenplay, and then so I have a production crew, majority of them from Des Moines, and then I have actors, some from Forest City, some from Laurel.
Do you need any local?
We can always use extras.
Probably, if you're going back in time, there could probably be a cameo with a bread truck.
No, that's true too, but I used to race down there. There was a kid down from Melbourne. Well, we won't get into that.
And this is all legal, right?
Yes.
And you've got your insurance taken care of.
Yeah, I have liability insurance, and I think you guys received that. So yeah, that's, and I want approval for you guys to sign off, just so you guys aren't liable, and so if anything were to happen, pretty much everybody's covered, so there wouldn't be any gray areas.
I guess I'll turn to Paul on this, since we are looking at closing this road. Is this something,
It's a short-term closure, so it isn't going to affect us. And I did ask you to talk to sheriff's office.
Yep,
Did
so I
you?
called, I left him a message, he wasn't in the office. So I left a message, I also talked to Scott Kelber, he's on EMT from Melbourne. And he said he'll let everybody know. And then
Okay.
I left Bob Monroe, he's the fire chief, I left him a message, he was out in the field.
Will we put up barricades?
We can. You could get the barricades from us, but it's probably going to be easier for you if you get them from the city of Melbourne, because they've recently closed that stretch for some other work in town, and
Yeah,
it's
well-
fine for a short-term closure just to put up the city barricades out by, out close to 3:30 and at the first
Yeah.
place you close in town.
And we want to have a controlled environment so we can be efficient, and so we don't have to, go back multiple nights. We want to have, a controlled environment so we don't have to worry about, oh, let's stop, there's a car coming, and if there's cars going fast, it's not going to be full speed, but it's still would need to be considerably fast to make it look realistic. So, yeah, we want to make sure everything's done the right way.
I don't think we have any trouble with
I
this,
think
or
it's
at
a neat
least I
idea.
don't. I think it's neat, but I highly encourage you to follow through and check up with Bob Monroe with the
Yeah.
fire department out of Melbourne, make sure he's okay with this, and also your first responders from medical
And
for
also
that
the
area,
sheriff's office,
and the
too.
sheriff.
If you contact me when you know you've got your date, we're planning on the 14th, but it's
Yeah, it'd be
it's
either-
weather.
It'd
and
be
it's-
14th or 15th. There's one of my guys that's doing lighting. He's busy on the Friday, but he might be able to come late. So we're trying to figure all that. But that's just planning. It'll be one either 14th or 15th.
Because we put out a notification with email that lets the emergency response and everyone know
Yeah,
about
that's
it.
true, too. Yeah.
Okay.
So just kind of coordinate through him.
You've got my cell number.
Bob Monroe.
Yep, I do.
Okay. Very good. Good luck. Yeah, that sounds neat. All right, I need a motion on this.
Mr. Chairman, I motion that we approve this request for a temporary closure of County Road for filmmaking on October 14th from 6:30 to 1 a.m. to film a short film in Melbourne, Iowa.
Mr. Chairman, I'll second that.
All right, we got a motion and a second. The only discussion item would be if it would happen to be the 15th, are we still covered? Let's make that motion say the 14th or 15th, right? I mean,
Yeah.
just in case weather or something would take it out, and that way we're not. So,
The insurance that you've got, is it covering a larger spread or just those 2 days, do you know?
No, that's my insurance for.
It's a year.
Okay, I think we got it covered then.
okay.
Yeah, now I got a question then. This liability insurance is just your insurance, your personal insurance?
It's like doing business as Colneedum. So
Pardon?
doing business as Colneedum. So if
Okay.
we're filmmaking, if anything.
Okay, so it's a business insurance?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right, we got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Gravenbauer,
Yes.
Patton,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
All right, moving on to item number 15, public forum. This is a time set aside for the public to make comments on topics of county business other than those listed on the agenda. No action will be taken on any of these topics brought up in the public forum. All right, public?
Any concern about the property on the grounds in the aftermath of Oktoberfest?
Oh, there's,
Damage.
I've talked with Lucas and not really. I mean, it's gonna come back. I mean, this is our community front yard. I mean, it's gonna take some damage, and unfortunately, it rained on that Thursday as the vendors were pulling in. I mean, it's gonna be soft, there's gonna be some, but it'll come back.
There was no real damage other than
No.
a couple ruts in the yard, and that can be filled in with dirt and reseeded. We're good.
Yeah, we're okay. I did spill my pop out there, man. I don't know if that Coke would eat through the
Did
grass.
you get that cleaned up off the concrete?
No, I kinda.
Okay.
Any other thing else? Anything else that needs to be brought up in the public forum? Hearing none, seeing none. Item number 16, this is our adjournment. The next regular session is October 18th, 2016 at 9 a.m. All business to be acted upon at that session should be submitted to the county auditor and recorder's office or the board of supervisors office by Thursday, October 13, 2016 at 1 p.m. There being no further business to come before the board, we are adjourned at 9:30. Thank you very much.